Gesundheit. Off to a good start. Let's get down to business. So, it is now getting to be night. You guys have done a lot on this cruise ship since boarding it in the morning. You boarded it at 10 a.m. and since then you have explored just about every corner of it. Milo has checked out the getaway boats. V has gotten the tour, including a tour of the captain's quarters, and Kid went all the way downstairs to make a loop about the little train track system that they've got down there that also showcases the glass strip around the entire ship, which I'm sure is perfectly safe, that allows you to see out into the ocean.
Yeah, sure.
Emotionally, it might be a little bit less safe if you're afraid of the deep dark, but that's okay. You guys eventually actually all made it down there because Kid told you that he had spotted some clink down there for some reason making trouble, and you were like, oh, we should probably go check that out because that doesn't seem normal. Upon arriving, you, in your typical fashion, bullied some adults into giving you a job. And then you went around. You couldn't find the clink, unfortunately. However, you did find the kind of like the engineering / security room, and upon glancing up at the video cameras that they had in there, you found that one of the Jareds, Jared with a J, had apparently walked into a room. The normal Jared, yes. Had apparently walked into the room on the other side of these tracks, and you guys saw smoke pouring out of it. Now that didn't seem normal, even on a ship.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine. But you went over to investigate, and you discovered that there was some coughing making trouble. You immediately beat these coughing up, quite literally in Kid's case. Kid just went to town with his fists, including Froki, you know. But yeah, that was fun.
Punching Pokemon out.
Yep. You basically punched both of the coughing out. You saved Garrett with a G. And that seemed to be that. I'm sorry, Milo, I forgot. You discovered something in the bottom of one of the rescue boats, one of the getaway boats. What are they called? I keep on calling them different things, which they are not.
Life rafts.
Life rafts. That's a lifeboat. That's the boat where you go to live. You discovered a Pokeball, a Premier Ball, which appeared to be quite bruised at this point, and having been down there for a while, began to grow mildewy and, I wouldn't say moldy, but you know, that wear and tear. You thought this was pretty odd. You ended up calling Acacia, who told you that it's definitely not normal. The fact that it is not opening to you. It actually didn't have a Pokemon registered under there, despite the fact that there was clearly a Pokemon in there. So you decided to re-register to your own name and then let it out. It turned out to be a Rockruff. But it was in pretty bad shape emotionally, I would say. It doesn't seem to have any physical injuries, but it is definitely incredibly distrustful of you. And it appears to be suffering, at least in part, some sort of PTSD. So you decided that for the time being, you're just going to try to let him adjust to things. You formed 2 rooms. The top room is the Team Extrovert room, which contains Dwebble, Piper, and Chester, and Froki, and Zubat, who are all having a great big party.
I think Chester and
oh, that's right.
And Dwebble were playing chicken.
That's
and
right.
I think Piper at this point is judging.
That's right. Referee for the match. And the other room, V's room, was declared the introvert room, where all of the quiet Pokemon went. So the two divas, Pyra and Ivory, are laying on the bed. Shuppet, Umbra's just playing around, and Lou's just watching TV. He's not bothered by anything, or rather, he's bothered by everything.
He just wanted somewhere quiet to go and just relax.
Yep.
Just not be bothered by people.
I want
And
to
not have to
know.
run around.
Yeah, exactly. Not have to run laps. I want to know, what is Lou's favorite TV program? Like, what does he watch?
I want to say it's like a Power Rangers type show, but it's probably Pokemon themed. Like it's a bunch of
Pokemon
Pokemon that
Rangers.
are the Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, it's like the Squirtle Squad, but they're all different colors. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that basically was decided because Milo, you took a while to coerce the Rockruff out from under the bed and into the introvert's room. Because that took a little while, you decided to tell Kid and V to go on ahead to dinner, since dinner was imminent, and your meeting with the infamous Magnus Tun, which has prompted me to name all of the various Sylph Corporation members in a similar... I will be prepared from now on.
Hit us with the puns.
But yeah, you basically agreed to go and meet him first, and then Milo, you will catch up whenever that comes around.
Archie 9.
Archie 9. Hold on, I gotta write that down. Wait. Archie 9. Okay. Anyway, to keep going. So that is where we left off. Kid and V, you are going to be heading downstairs to the larger dinner party.
Just V put on nicer clothing, and I guess he just kind of told Kid, it's just, well, I guess just look tough. You can be my bodyguard.
You got it.
All right. Cool. In which case, I think we're just about ready. Let me see if I have the next map prepared, and I think I do. So, yeah, this is gonna be great. All right.
And it probably won't come up soon, but did you see the messages I just sent you?
I did just see the messages you just sent me. Give me 1 second. I just need to adjust the music because I made very specific music choices for this.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
It's a fancy place.
Yeah.
It's a fancy, fancy place. You guys, you and Kid. Yeah, sorry, your Pokemon are still down there somewhere in the darkness. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, it was good.
I know Lily with
Yes, that's right. Lily is somewhere with, but I'm presuming that she's not with you. She's just kind of hovering around.
She's gonna be up on like the ceiling.
Okay.
Like, I'm assuming the ceiling will be pretty high, and so she's just gonna be like hiding up on the ceiling and just keeping an eye out in case V started yelling or like gave her commands.
Okay. All right. You guys are headed downstairs. You go in. Lily is perfectly hidden. I believe she rolled something like a natural 20 or like a 22 or something. I don't remember what it was. It was.
Well,
Yeah, she rolled really well. So that's no problem with her stealth. You guys walk into the room and immediately there's like a kind of a code check area. You've heard about this before. This is technically a code check and a Pokemon check. Because no Pokemon are allowed inside the ballroom, technically. You're supposed to kind of put them away. It's kind of like a PC storage system, so it's not... It's pretty safe, but you decided, I believe, not to bring any of your Pokemon with you, at least not overtly. So you can kind of bypass that. There's a couple of security guards. You kind of clock right away. They're letting people in, ushering them. A couple of other staff are taking coats and answering questions about the menu. But there's a couple of doors into the wider room. Unless you want to do anything else here or discuss any plans you had.
I guess as we're like waiting to get in, and V'll turn to the Kid, it's just, okay, so I mean, I don't really know entirely what to expect besides the fact that we're going to be sitting with some higher up guy, and Milo's said that he was just going to, like, either bribe us to keep quiet or thinly veiled threats of some sort.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but I mean, I'm just gonna wing it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure how we could prep. Do you have any like leading questions to try to figure out what exactly is going on?
Not really, besides the fact just like, I mean, I could ask him about the stuff we encountered and see if he has some sort of stock answer. But, I mean, we don't really... Is there anything we want to know about Silphco besides the fact that they seem pretty scummy in their business practice? Which I feel like is pretty obvious.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty safe bet that they're kind of like up to no good. Mainly just want to know if they're gonna keep pushing it. You know what I mean? If they're gonna continue going after if you don't do what they say.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I'm worried about is that I think it was Acacia said that they might have power to take away our licenses, which we just got, and that's bullshit. I don't feel like any amount of money or power that you have should be able to influence literally like other companies. They don't have anything to do with it.
Well, I mean, maybe we just gotta try to play ball with them for right now. I don't want to lose my push mind. That's the main thing.
I can tell them that I'll stop and, like, if they want, but it's not necessarily, like, unless they make me sign something, that doesn't mean much.
You think they'll try to get kids to sign something at sea? That seems pretty scummy. That actually does seem like they might try saying it out loud.
Yeah. Either way, like, if we signed something, would it even be legal? Would not exactly... I think you need to be a certain age to sign legal paperwork. Yeah. What if I tell them that they have to send it to my dad and have him sign it? I'm sure both parties would enjoy that.
Hey, at the very least, it might run a little bit of interference. Really make them work for it, you know?
Anyone could make a company like that work for it, I suppose it would be him. But, yeah, I don't know. I really, until we get there and listen to what this guy wants to say, I guess, I don't know what to expect.
Alright, I will leave the talking to you because this is kind of your whole bag, but I will be backing you up the whole way.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. That's all I need. The food better at least be good. After
it's gotta be, right? Like, the ship is swanky as hell.
It's pretty cool.
Alright. And as you guys head inside, that's not reveal.
V also refuses to give them his jacket.
Okay. They'll offer several times, but they'll be like, "Oh, okay, all right. If that's not what you want, that's fine." You guys step inside the main ballroom, and once again, yeah, you're a little stunned by how they've managed to fit all of this inside a single cruise ship. There's so little indication realistically that you're actually on the water right now, balancing on a metal vessel that floats miles and miles above a dark, deep ocean. Instead, you feel as though you've just arrived at the top of a skyscraper in Celadon City, an exclusive club or some sort of opulent theater. There is the large stage over on the left that unfurls into the center of the room, and it is surrounded by dining tables already set for some guests. There's also a shining granite countertop bar decorating the right wall. There's a couple of fountains.
Wonder if I can get a drink.
I knew you would say that. There's a couple of fountains in the center gurgling, surrounded by lavish red leather couches, which already actually host a number of individuals clad in, pressed tuxes and waving around champagne glasses. On the other end of the room, you can see some tall windows, but they're dark and kind of hardly betray the waves brewing beyond them. You glance about. Go ahead and roll me perception checks, both of you.
Perception.
There we go. Roll 20 was having a minor heart attack.
Right.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Good job. Lucky 13. To be fair, it takes you a while to kind of get used to everything because you're too busy staring around. But as you glance about, it's actually not hard to see who you've come here to meet. At the same time, both of you notice sitting on one of the red couches a relatively short man who... he looks a bit like he was rendered using 3D software on low poly settings. He's a little blocky, yeah. Here, I will post a little thing in the chat for you to look at, because I had time to draw him.
Yes.
But yeah, he's a little bit short, but when you spot him, he's initially distracted by the figure on stage. A rather willowy woman crooning some sort of gentle tune. V, you recognize her as well. But he sees you coming closer, and actually stands, offering a rather wide and it seems genuine-looking smile.
Alright, he's this one over here, right?
He is indeed the one surrounded by, yes.
People.
Yep.
Alright. Well, V'll beeline for him then.
Okay. Alright.
Gotta zoom out a little bit, but kids. Going in tow.
Nice. Alright.
Pushes his sunglasses up into his hair.
He stands up, introduces himself. Hello, boys, it's so nice to finally meet you. I am Magnus. You can call me Magnus. My full name is Magnus Tunn. I am the public representative for Sylph Corporation. You might already know that, you might not. But regardless, I'm so glad to finally meet you. Honestly, when I stopped by the center, I was quite worried about having missed you. So I'm so glad you took up the opportunity to come. Please, sit down here. I will, he turns around, glances into the back, and he, motions to the two security guards behind him to be like, pull up some chairs for the guests, please. And they immediately go over and they pull up chairs. This is a little bit of an odd sitting situation, because these couches are clearly reserved for, how do I say, more opulent guests. And you guys have kind of like, ended up in the middle, essentially.
Mm-hmm. V will 100% just sit down on the couch.
Just ignoring the stool?
Yep.
Okay. What's Kid doing?
Kid will cop squat on the stool. He's not really
Cool. You sit down, V, you stretch yourself across the couch. Magnus seems a little bit startled by this decision, but he doesn't let it get to him. He motions to you and says, "Well, this is a full course dinner, and of course have as much as you like, or if you don't want to eat, that is of course fine too. I'm already having some things ordered." I understand.
Of course we're going to eat.
Good, very good, very good. Here you are, and he gives you a menu that's kind of full of appetizers. There's already set items that are, like, going to come to the table regardless, but you can order, like, some extras, appetizers, drinks. He does pull up, like, an alcoholic menu at first, and then pauses, and then smiles, and sets it back down.
Hand it over.
I don't think it's, I don't believe you're of age, but...
Looks can be deceiving.
Oh, I'm sure, and he kind of chuckles. Yes, anyways, but regardless, eat, please.
Anyways.
The dinner is on me,
so,
of course.
Magnus.
Yes, that is my name.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got your invitation, just barely. You did almost miss us. But, I mean, we got this. We got the letter, and I mean, how could we say no to such an intriguing proposition?
Oh, very good, very well. To tell the truth, if I believe you prefer to be called V, is it?
V.
Very good.
Yes.
To tell the truth, V, I was quite excited to have a chance to finally talk to you all, and he glances about, looks at Kid, looks at V. He glances at the third stool, which the security guards have automatically brought. Kind of looks back at V, decides not to comment on it for now, but it's clear that he expected Milo to be here as well. I'm assuming your friend will come by later.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whenever he's ready, he had a couple things he needed to take care of.
Oh, of course.
But I'm curious.
Yes.
Really. What is all of this about? Like, I know you hear all the time people win fancy prizes and cruises randomly in the mail that they didn't enter for, and usually it's kind of a scam.
Well, I think it's a little bit too late for it to be a scam, wouldn't you say? And he kind of motions to the entire thing.
We had to see if it was.
Right. Very good. You take an initiative, and I assure you, you are quite correct. Of course, there's plenty of scams going around, but no. The fact of the matter is, it's a little bit difficult to catch you boys, as you are constantly moving around. But after all,
we do.
Yes, but after all, you did ask what this was about, and, well, I have to be honest, to me, meeting the 3 children who somehow survived the train incident, it's almost like you're celebrities. Not that what happened to you was glamorous, don't misunderstand, that's not what I'm saying.
Pretty terrible.
Yes.
No, it's okay, we're kind of a big deal.
Well, that's exactly it. Yes, of course, you are quite handedly a big deal. In fact, from the police report, I understand that you were quite literally split off from the rest of the train by some large slab of rock, was it? That must have been terrifying, and yet you displayed incredible courage as trainers, even though you hadn't even visited your Pokemon professor at that point. I mean, how ever did you escape that situation, if you don't mind me asking, just as a general, being a big fan of adventure myself? I didn't quite hear.
I mean, in a situation of life and death, you kind of have to just act and get out, or you die.
Wow. That's, I should really write that down. That's... I mean, if you were to give an interview, I think that would really be the quote that all of the newspapers would be looking for. And he kind of points to you, does like finger guns and winks at V.
Sure.
Oh man, we totally didn't steal your Pokemon. Set them free.
I see. At this
But
point,
seriously,
the food comes. Go
you
ahead.
do whatever you need to.
I see, yes. And, but quite literally through a slab of rock. I imagine then that must mean one of you, single-handedly. Was it you? Or was it, he glances over at Kid, you seem like the strong, mighty type. Were you the one that moved that entire thing?
Well, we didn't exactly need to move anything. It kind of moved itself.
It moved itself? How do you mean?
You know, being a sentient giant pile of rocks.
A sentient pile of rocks. An onyx. Are you saying there was an onyx there?
Yes. I thought that was public knowledge already.
Well, from my understanding in the police report, the onyx came in from behind the train based on what they told me. Is that not correct? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I think the train car ahead of us got, like, blocked off with debris and stuff, but we just went out and around.
Oh, I see. Well, forgive me. He kind of takes a little bit of a drink, and as the plates arrive, he motions for all of you to eat and sits back and goes, "That's wow, that's incredible. Honestly, I do forgive me for being so forward. I simply wanted to know all the details as fast as I could. This has been occupying my imagination ever since I heard it. I mean, it's really something out of a superhero book, I would say." Oh yes, and you fought the onyx when it came. What did you do? Did you hide or?
I mean, what do you do when faced with a 6-story pile of rocks? You run away. It's not all as glamorous as it's really made out to be.
I see. Wow. So you just ran from it straight into the debris, and you pushed it out. I had heard, of course, that the entire train was rather blocked, and was that when you moved past the debris, or?
I don't think it was blocked. There were ways, like, branching out into the rest of the naturally made tunnel.
Little kid-sized cubby holes for us to crawl through.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, we were kind of running on adrenaline at that point. I don't entirely remember, like, where we went, but we did manage to find a path out and around and back, connecting to the main tunnel.
Right. Well, that is really incredible. V, would you mind making a deception check for me?
Absolutely. As he orders every, like, all of the most expensive things on the menu.
Kid absolutely tries to order some crab legs. Like, the largest kingler imaginable.
Oh.
You kind of the largest kingler legs there. All of these things arrive. You guys are eating. This goes back and forth for a while. And you get the feeling, V, that, like, you're doing a pretty good job. You're doing a pretty good job keeping him off your back. But he's pretty insistent, and I think it's probably not hard to tell exactly where he's going at with this. But the questions become...
What? No.
The questions become more and more pointed. Eventually, he kind of leans back, takes a sip of his drink, watches you, and just as he's about to kind of open his mouth to continue the questioning, you hear a bunch of clapping erupt, and the music that's been going on for a while now kind of grows quiet again. And a little bit of a different tune takes its place. It's a little bit slower. You guys continue to eat almost in silence for a while.
Yeah, V'll speak up at some point after he eats a little bit and just, all right, look, you want to know so badly what we did down there, how we got out. I want to know, do you know what was going down there in that tunnel?
He kind of glances over at V and goes, I'm afraid I'm not sure what you mean. I've been trying to find out. That's why I've been asking you. That's, well,
I mean, do you...
the crux of my interest.
I feel like maybe you know why it happened in the first place.
What do you mean? The train failure? The accident?
Almost don't know whether to call it an accident.
Well, he kind of picks up a plate, wipes his mouth a little bit, and sets it down again and goes, well, from my understanding, and me having looked into this for a while, and the police report, what I can assume happened was that a rogue Onyx came across the train, used an attack to split the train in half and create the debris, as you called it, that blocked off one part of the train from the rest, and while the people evacuated and you three were all trapped in the back, it continued to destroy the train for quite some time, although at one point it left, apparently, and what happened in between.
But I want to know why would an Onyx do that? Why attack a train? They don't seem to really care about any of the other built subways, just this recent one.
Why indeed? That is a very good question. I think you are really getting to the bottom of something. He spears a little bit of chicken on his plate, shovels it behind his cheek, sets it down, wipes his hands and sits back again, and he goes, do you want to know something interesting? I,
Sure.
as I've said, am in great pursuit of adventures, small and large, and Sylph Corporation, of course, is intricately tied to matters of Pokemon. Of course, we have our fingers in many pies, as many people would say. We fund a large portion of the railway company that now connects all of Kanto, and we have other business endeavors, but the majority of our money and our audience, as it were, it has to do with Pokemon. It has to do with... did you know, actually, Sylph Corporation, it got quite famous making Pokeballs at one point. The point being is that we always have our finger on the pulse for how these magnificent creatures are doing, and I have to admit, most people have written off this accident, as I've been calling it, as nothing more than that. Simply an accident that happened the way an earthquake would sometimes happen, or a storm, or some sort of other natural disaster. But I don't believe that's to be the case.
I think we know better than that.
Kind of observes you and goes, I think we do. But I don't know if you're aware. Of course, stop me if you are, but this is not the first time that this has happened. Pokemon attacking suddenly. Pokemon attacking various, not only railway stations and not only trains filled with people, but sometimes abodes, sometimes homes. Pokemon acting quite violently. It's been something we have been looking into for some time.
Right. Will you tell me then, you said Sylphco has their hand on the pulse of Pokemon. Is it... do care about the well-being of Pokemon? Do you do your research of where you build things and whether someone might already be living there?
Well, I'm not personally in the research department, but yes, Silphco does take the utmost care to put quite a lot of money into research. In fact, if you were to check our website, we have quite an extensive research department. And a great part of it goes into researching the welfare of Pokemon and making sure that everything that we create is only done with the utmost approval of the leading Pokemon professors.
Sure.
Kind of observes you and says,
Well,
you seem...
if I were to believe you...
If you were...
I suppose everyone makes mistakes, right? Even giant corporations with a lot of money like Silphco.
I suppose everyone does, but you are speaking as though you believe us to have made a mistake.
I do.
What would that be?
I think that the railway that you made, no one bothered to go down there and check where you were tunneling through. Do you know what we found down there?
He just kind of blinks and looks at you and inclines his head as if kind of letting you keep going.
We found a mother mourning her baby who was bricked in to the side of the tunnel.
A mother.
I don't think that they attack indiscriminately as you all might think. Pokemon aren't exactly these wild, raging beasts that have no regard for people.
He takes another sip of his drink and goes, are you suggesting that out of the hundreds of Sylph Corporation workers that have been working on this tunnel since several years prior, not a single one of them would have noticed an onyx nest, as you are suggesting?
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
It is rather weird. Where did you discover such an egg, if your story is to be believed? Where was this egg?
On our way back. Up the tunnel back towards the exit. After we left the scene of the mother onyx. I have pictures.
Do you?
I could send them to you.
You could send them to me, or of course you could post them publicly on Ruffler.
I could.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's really quite interesting.
It's
So
just
then why are you
hilarious
so
because like
confused?
all of this is just talking around circles that have already been revealed. It's hilarious. It's just this
Yeah.
game tug of war.
Kid's just like, look, I know I'll put my foot in my mouth, so I fully trust me. I'm just gonna fancy food that doesn't come around often.
Right?
Yeah, Kid is just
So
stuffing
then I
his
guess-
mouth. He's being wholly ignored in this entire conference. I think one of the security guards behind Magnus is like watching Kid out of the corner of his eye, being like, I wish I could still eat like that.
Sitting there like patting his belly, like I'm gonna go to the gym tonight, just looking at that kid eating that plate of food.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I guess then I'm confused why you're confused about this.
well, you see, there was something that confused me. You
Mm-hmm.
paint a picture of heroes here. You walked down that tunnel, discovered a nest
Not
which
you.
nobody else has discovered. You couldn't save, but you've made yourselves quite obviously the good guys of the story and have painted Sylph Corporation as someone who, over the course of 2 years of construction on that entire tunnel, did not manage to discover this nest, but instead, by your own words, did something rather morally corrupt, and yet I really want to know what then made you decide to unlawfully use and then release the Pokemon stored on the train. Did you plan to make a habit of thievery early, or did someone put you up to it? Because there are several trainers working for the railroad who were quite devastated to realize that the Pokeballs which contained their precious Sandslash, Machop, Electabuzz, and Poliwhirl had been opened and subsequently destroyed. It's just very confusing because it seems to me that you wanted to be the good guys.
That if a Pokemon wanted to be where it was, it wouldn't have left.
Oh, I see. So clearly you think that you have been doing something of a, what do they call it, vigilante work here. Is that it?
No. I seem to think that we give people and Pokemon with sentience a choice.
Oh, I see. And the choice was made by you to release those
Made by
Pokemon.
them.
And can you prove that to me?
No more than you could ask them yourselves, I suppose. But they didn't come back.
Are you sure about that?
No. And if they did, that's their right. If they weren't forced to come back and went back on their own and rejoined their own trainers, good for them.
I see. You know, you've really determinedly painted yourself as somebody who is going out there and making decisions and breaking Pokeballs and freeing Pokemon that you think are under some sort of subjugation. But I really don't recommend it, especially in the position you're in.
Hold on, you think we broke the Pokeballs? You think I could break a Pokeball?
You've just told me that you've cleared the debris. Now, don't be shy. You don't have to hide it. There was a single slab of rock slicing that entire thing in half. To think that there was some little kiddie holes, as you said, that you could have climbed through. V, here's something I don't understand. You've only gotten started on your journey, your friends and you. You have so many fun adventures still ahead of you, and the fact that you've decided to use the tragic train incident to cover up for your petty crimes, and then also stirred up unfounded rumors about Sylph Corporation, which is libel, by the way, presumably to distract from your vandalism and illegal releasing of the 4 Pokemon, feels like you are just trying to make things worse for yourself. If you're a part of an illicit crime syndicate known as Type 19, maybe it would be better to say it outright. At least then your actions would make sense, as opposed to being more so like a collection of poor decisions. Made by 3 immature children who simply didn't bother to consider the consequences of their actions. Now go ahead.
You lost me like 4 sentences ago. What about Type 19?
Are you a part of Type 19? Because this really fits right into their agenda.
Don't even know what that is.
Roll a deception check.
We don't really know what they are.
Well, you've heard
into them.
I can roll, but we don't.
Okay.
Right.
That's even better than before. Makes sense. Okay. He just kind of narrows his eyes at you, but...
You want a full explanation. We were trapped in a train car. And I'm not painting any of us to be heroes or grand arbiters of justice. We went to the next car. There were Pokemon in Pokeballs among the debris. We let them out, gave them a choice. Do you want to stay here or do you want to leave? And they decided, at least most of them, decided to leave. They broke their own Pokeballs.
According to you.
Yeah. And we were the only ones there, so I guess you're really gonna have to take my word for it. After we were trapped in said train car, as a direct action of a grieving Pokemon who I can't imagine would have had, like, why would it have done it unless it had a reason to?
Well, you weren't really listening when I was talking, which is not surprising anymore, but I did tell you that there have been several incidents of Pokemon acting rogue and violent recently, which is one of the things that Sylph is looking into, which corroborates my story, but not necessarily yours, given the fact that there have
I'm
since
sure
been
they have a reason.
no police or other investigation which have been able to discover this onyx nest that you talk about, nor any
You mean
of
the
the
groups
onyx
that
eggs.
you have? You mean the groups that you have your fingers in?
Narrows his eyes. For the first time, he's finally getting.
His tone shift after revealing that he'd read all this shit on Ruffler was fucking amazing. Two sides of a magnet, positive, negative.
I feel like I'm back in Strahd. You're finally kind of getting to him. Go ahead and roll me an insight check just for fun of it, V. And you too, kid, if you'd like. I'm presuming you're listening to all of this.
Kid's eating, but he's playing.
Yeah, absolutely. V, you're locked in this stare down with this man, and you're kind of reading him, but at the same time, you're trying to, like, keep your wits about you and anticipate what he's gonna do next. Kid who's not involved in this conversation, you know for a fact that, like, this guy is definitely slowly, what do I call it? He's getting angrier and angrier, but he's evidently very good at containing it. Like, he has been planning this. So far, you think that everything is going according to plan, but you see that he's kind of at his limit. As you're doing this, you also probably, actually, I'll say this now. V, as you're kind of having this stare down, your phone buzzes in your pocket. Do you look at it?
Not yet. Okay. Not right now.
Okay.
It would probably go to Kid, too.
Probably go to Kid. Kid, your phone also buzzes in your pocket.
Kid will make a show of, like, licking his fingers and then rubbing it on the napkin and reaching into his pocket and pull his phone out.
Alright. You pull your phone...
Oh, don't mind me.
You get a message from Milo, who basically says that he's just going to watch over the Pokemon and order room service, and he's not going to come to dinner. So you know Milo's not coming.
It comes across kind of like making a lot of progress with Rocky. Hope dinner's going well. Let me know if you need me. I'll keep an eye on everybody. Good luck, guys.
It's kind of like, okay. I guess Milo isn't gonna make it. You have to catch up with him some other time, Maggie.
It's too bad.
Maggie. You see his grip on the champagne glass tighten, and his eyes narrow, and he looks between both of you. And he then looks up and adjusts his bow tie a little bit and tries to get back, and that like weird, very kind smile, but now unnerving, knowing what's behind it, comes back, and he just grinds out.
Look.
The time. Go ahead, tell me. He looks back at V.
All I was gonna say is, from all of this, all I can say is, unless you, as a person or corporation, whichever you choose to be supporting at the moment, unless you think of Pokemon only as just your slaves or your pets and don't have rights of their own, I don't think we've done anything wrong.
He leans over to you and he goes, "You have inadvertently stolen poor Pokemon. The fact that you think that you did it for the right reasons won't matter in court. The time for Saturday morning cartoon heroism is over, friends. This is the real world. And unless you're ready to play ball and explain to the Kanto Police Department that you unlawfully released those railway Pokemon, or why you, V, are carrying 4 Pokemon illegally now despite the fact that your trainer license only allows 3, I recommend we come to some sort of agreement.
Well, I don't know that you can prove any more than you could prove that we did steal Pokemon, seeing as we didn't have them.
Oh, for the love of God. Barry, and not Barry, Jerry, and he turns around to one of his his thugs essentially and goes, "Did you get the recording of V confessing to taking the Pokemon and releasing them literally 5 minutes ago?" And Jerry just kind of nods and goes, "Yes."
Nope. Gave him a choice.
So
There's nothing against the law. There's nothing against the law in letting some Pokemon out of their Pokeballs to ask if they were okay, and then them making their own decisions.
Again, that is something that you are saying. That is how you say things went. And as we've discovered over and over again, you cannot prove it. Of course, I could say that I would take your Pokemon and it would want to move away from you, and I could throw it into the sea and you'd never see it again. And would people really believe me? There is many.
They don't have a choice to come back.
This is what I get. Listen to me.
Also, point B being that I have too many Pokemon, we left port. Where am I supposed to put it away?
Would you like me to ask the Kanto Police Department to pull up your license and check when you caught your 4th Pokemon and whether or not you were over the 24-hour carrying limit when you waltzed into the Pokemon Center in Cinnabar and multiple times healed it without removing it from your party?
Go for it.
Excellent. I'm glad we had this conversation because, and at this moment, there is suddenly a weird rumbling, and very abruptly the entire ballroom goes dark.
Are you fucking kidding me? On the ocean. Really, man?
Well, I adjust the music to be slightly spookier.
Spookier.
This would be a lot easier if we hadn't broken, like, literally all the laws, guys.
Look,
I'm pretty sure.
Who told them to make these laws when they knew we were going to break them?
I mean, you're right, 100%, and I agree with you.
They have no proof that we used the Pokemon, and like I said, if we just let them out to see if they were okay and they ran away, that's not our fault.
I mean, I'd even say that letting them out and using them in that emergency situation is a life or death situation. That would be okay. And you were right. We didn't. I'm trying to remember. I don't think we broke any of them ourselves. I know we.
Plus, yeah. And B, I don't think that I had Umbra for more than 24 hours before we got onto the boat, because I caught him maybe just barely outside of the 24 hours, but.
Oh, go ahead, Milo. Sorry.
No, that was just me speculating. This Kate, I don't know.
As the lights go dark, you see Magnus. Well, you partially see Magnus glance up and look around, startled, and he scowls and looks back at you both and goes,
"Is this part of your plan?
Is this part of your plan?" As the PA announcement overhead clicks on and goes, Excuse me, folks, this is the captain speaking. We appear to have overloaded some of the generators, and we're currently experiencing a little bit of trouble with the power cables down below. Please wait until our emergency power comes back on. This is nothing to be concerned about. So sorry. Just hang tight in there for a little while longer. Thank you. Ding.
Oh boy. I fucking hate the ocean.
I bet it's the clink. Or maybe the Joltik we learned about.
All right.
Maybe. Do you think they have the power to shut down an entire ship?
I mean, if it's messing with the generator, maybe. There might be a horde of Joltik forming it, sucking up all that sweet electricity.
That would be super cute.
All right. Actually,
Kid said that in front of Magnus, by the way. That wasn't like out of character. That was Kid telling that to me.
Fair enough. I forgot about Lily for a second. Can you make me a perception check for Lily as well?
Okay. Also, while I do that, while it's dark, can V steal the rest of Magnus's drink?
Yeah, roll me a stealth check with advantage.
Let's see. Stealth, and then for Lily...
You don't need to be drunk.
He just wants to try it. What was she? Perception?
Yeah, perception from Lily, please.
I mean, that might be the key that we're missing. V not being drunk could, that could change everything.
Maybe. He's never done it, so...
Alright. I want to skip back for just a hot second to what is Milo doing at this moment? Because very shortly after you sent the message, another, maybe 5 minutes passed, and then suddenly the entire ship went dark.
He was watching cartoons with Lou. He came over, and after coaxing Rocky out from under the bed, kind of leading him over to Team Quiet and setting up their food, he sat down next to Lou and kind of scruffled the top of his head and was just watching cartoons, and as soon as he got comfortable on the floor, and he's like, and he'll take out his phone. Whole ship? Question mark.
You hear the doors to your room and all of the rooms down the hallway automatically unlock, because this is technically, as soon as the power goes out, they're set to unlock so that nobody's, trapped with no way out.
Okay, well, you guys stay here. They've been alone for 5 minutes, so they couldn't have... Oh, God, everything's destroyed. I left you alone. He'll go get Team A or Team Extrovert and put everyone down in the room down here.
All right. While you're doing that, can you also...
over here, guys.
Quickly roll me a perception check?
Yeah.
And I think we did leave all the Pokeballs in case you needed to put them all away and then shove them all in your backpack.
Good to know.
No.
Alright, perception.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't think it should have been a disadvantage.
Sure. So, 15?
15?
Okay. 15. Okay. Yeah. You glance down the hallway. As you're herding Pokemon from one room into the other in the darkness here, you glance down the hall, and you see a couple of, the rooms open, and the ship is still swaying slightly, but it appears to be slowing down, and the doors kind of open a little bit wider in some cases. Most of the time, there's, not an issue, but as you glance down the hall, you see the, what do you call it? The walkway on the outside of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You see something very small run past, dragging behind it like a bag of something almost.
I want to chase it. I want to chase it so bad. I can't leave everybody. It would take me a solid minute to recall everybody. Okay, he'll clock it and then head back into the room. He'll send the message to V and Kid to see if the whole ship is down or if it's just... I don't even know if the network's going to work, because I don't know if our phone was using some super robust
Wi-Fi.
worldwide network, or if
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
the phone's network, or the boat's network that we tapped into, and we're just using like a local intranet to talk to each other.
I think it was a local intranet. I think there's like a ship Wi-Fi, so the fact that the electricity is down means everything's down. You're
Oh,
missing
no signal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, let's go find your parents, and you're just gonna start recalling everybody. He'll leave Lou out, and obviously Rocky doesn't have a Pokeball, so everybody else will go away for right now.
Okay.
Go to sleep time.
Go to sleep, go to sleep. I'm just gonna quietly put them into the darkness. Don't worry, guys. Into the darkness. Oh wait, I should.
Okay. Now, there's no way to like manually close the door, right? Because you said it was popped open.
It was popped open, yeah. They're not meant to be closed in an emergency situation, which, like, this isn't an emergency. The ship's not sinking or anything. It's just out of power, so they're automatically just set to, like, don't lock.
Just in case. Yeah, that makes sense. He'll walk up to
electronic locks and they don't work.
Yeah.
Right. To where Rocky has been hiding under the chair there. He'll kind of just get...
Yeah, you actually see a little, like, nose. It's dark, so you can't see exactly, but there's also, you know, some amount of, like, emergency lights, and you see Rocky's nose poke out from underneath the chair and just kind of begin to sniff around as he also realizes that something's going down.
Yeah, something's up, buddy. I'm gonna take all of...
Shenanigans afoot.
Shenanigans are definitely afoot. I'm gonna take all of our friends, and we're gonna go find... the others so that we can get through this safely, okay? But the best way for you to come with me is, and he's going to take the type Pokeball out again, would be in this. So I'll let you out as soon as you're safe, I promise. And then we'll spend more time. We'll get to know each other. We'll eat, and we'll get you all taken care of, okay?
Go ahead and roll me a... I'm stuck between animal handling and persuasion. Go ahead and roll me an animal handling check. Without disadvantage just this time.
Okay.
Because it's kind of the advantage of everything's scary and Pokeball safe, so...
so many 9s. Come
Yeah.
on, game.
Oh, no. It pokes its nose towards the ball, and it almost looks like it's about to go inside, but at the last moment, something down the hallway clangs and makes a loud noise, and immediately all the work that you've been doing is undone as it scrambles further under the chair.
It's okay. I don't want to push. He turns around and he looks at Lou. All right, Lou, I don't want to run around with more than one friend loose, so here. He's going to recall Lou, and he'll pull Lou into a Pokeball, and then he'll kind of just hold his arms out for Rocky. How about I carry you, okay?
There's a pause, and then another loud noise, like somewhere further down the hall, and Rocky just rockets out from under the chair, and kind of very nervously, shaking like a chihuahua, like kind of presses itself against your calf so you can actually pick him up.
I will pick him up. Okay, probably down in the... let's head for the ballroom. It's got to be easy to find. It's got to be big, right? Okay. All right, come on, buddy. And he's just gonna hold him close and run out. Actually, sorry, I'd forgotten. He'll run out to that gantry and see if he can still see anything getting dragged away. If he's fortunate enough.
Yeah. You run outside, down the hall. Sorry, I don't have halls for this purpose. But as you run down the hall, you kind of look about. Nothing so far. Roll me an investigation check for both the ballroom and also shenanigans. Actually, roll me 2 separate investigation checks. Why not?
So
first
ballroom.
Roll for shenanigans.
Ballroom 9.
Ballroom
Okay.
first is a 9.
Shenanigans. 10.
I have only one focus, and that's this poor little dog in my arms.
Yeah, you're trying to like not run too hard, not to scare him. And also going, where's the ballroom? And occasionally you like stop and try to look at a map. And then be like, oh shit, I'm on the wrong floor. Yeah, there's no lights. There's like some emergency lights down on the bottom of the hallways that you're running on, but they're not enough to actually illuminate anything effectively.
It's like a movie theater is what I'm seeing in my mind, like that just barely enough on the floor to see your where you're walking.
Yep. You keep running every once in a while. kind of bumping into other people who are also out and about, kind of like milling. A couple of times you bump into somebody who is like, God damn, I can't find it. Look, no, I'm pretty sure it was right here. We gotta get out. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? The captain said not
We gotta get out.
You bump into some other people who are like, I'm pretty sure this is all just a big plan for, some of the hooligans to steal all our stuff. I'm telling you, they're gonna steal all our stuff.
The hooligans.
The
I
hooligans.
love the vacationers.
You keep running. After a while, you can't find the fucking ballroom. But as you round the corner and you're like, okay, front of the ship. We can at least go to the front of the ship and then go from there. As you run out to the front of the ship, you notice that in a hallway that's very not occupied, towards the top, where you probably wouldn't be, kind of like around here-ish on the map, I guess. Oh, sorry, that's only Rocky, that's not you. Probably around here-ish on the map. As you run out there and you turn the corner and you look down, you see something very small, and it's a very interesting... It's not a Pokemon that you've seen before, but it is very clearly a Pokemon or a very round toddler. And it is just one by one, just chucking something repeatedly into the ocean. Until you round the corner, with a 10, I would say you round the corner just as it's like finishing up. So it finishes up, shakes the bag out into the ocean, and then like pats its little paws and then turns around and jumps as it realizes it's being watched.
Okay, that happened. What was that?
It just kind of makes a really interesting, like, trilling sound. If I do it, Discord's not going to catch it. It's going to be like,
yeah.
And immediately, like, jumps and tries to get away. Hold on.
Do I recognize it? Can I roll an Arcana?
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check. Yeah, go ahead and roll an Arcana.
I swear to every god.
Son of a goddamn bitch, guys.
Another 9.
No, it's a 6.
Oh, goddamn.
I've rolled a 2, a 5, a 6, and a 2.
Hell yeah. And a 1 before that when you accidentally did
I
disadvantage.
know. I burned that at least. But the game didn't know that. Roll 20 just wants me to fail.
Yep.
Just roll everything with disadvantage and burn all the bad rolls.
Yeah. I would say I would describe the Pokemon to you more, but I know that if I describe it, you, Cade, the person who has encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon would know. So to keep it fair and above the table...
How far away from me is it?
It's like a good, 40 to 30 feet.
Okay. Do I definitely clock it as a Pokemon and as a weird Pokemon?
It's a weird Pokemon.
I throw a Pokeball at it.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Which Pokeball are you throwing?
I just,
All
let
of
me
them.
see. Let me look at what they do again. Give me 1 second. Throw it right here. So I've got a level ball and a nest ball, and I don't think the nest ball would give me anything here, but the level ball might. I don't remember what it does.
The lower the level, the higher it goes, I think is the plan.
It's an extremely round toddler, dude. You got it. I believe in you.
I mean, I'm thinking either Makahita or like a Delibird or something, but Milo doesn't know,
Yeah, I figured it was
so
Delibird.
Yeah.
Had like a bag. But
yeah.
And then the trill little response it had. That was my first thought, too.
I don't know how
Milo
else to
running around
describe
with
it.
Delibird.
I don't know how else to describe it without the thing. Okay, go ahead and roll me an animal handling, I guess. Here's the thing. Roll me just a straight up dex check as you're throwing. I will explain why in a second, just trust me.
Okay. Dex check as I'm throwing. Is it 16?
16. You throw the Pokeball and you're like, yes, that is definitely gonna hit. And as you do so, it like opens up to catch the Pokemon. Like, as it lets out that red light that basically digitizes and turns Pokemon into data, the weird little creature makes the chirping sound again, and the Pokeball just goes and closes again and just drops and begins to roll the other way.
it's somebody's.
It's already owned by somebody.
Who's sabotaging the ship?
Okay.
And while you're doing this thing just
Pokeball.
begins to... Yeah, it begins to roll. I will say this. I'm just going to be nice for now. It begins to roll, but because you're on a ship, it's like rolling towards the edge. You're gonna have to roll me a dexterity save to try
Well,
to catch it again if you want.
Was it up on my level, or was it down lower than me?
It was
The Pokemon.
the Pokemon is up on your level, but it's already squeezing in through the bars and tried to go down.
Okay, then Pokeball's lost. He's going to switch, and seeing that it's somebody's Pokemon,
Pokeball's lost.
stop it! He's throwing Piper out.
Okay.
'Cause he's got a flying Pokemon.
That's true. As soon as Piper comes out, I guess we're gonna do this. Oh god damn it! Hold on, where's my?
It's a wild Pokemon, and it's not even a wild Pokemon. It's a loose trainer's Pokemon up to shenanigans.
Only we can get into shenanigans.
Hey.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna do this in a weird way. I don't know how we're gonna do. Oh God, Piper, you're so small. I'm so sorry. We're just gonna do this vaguely. Whatever this thing is, I'm gonna draw its general shape. We're gonna play Who's That Pokemon? You're gonna know. Hold on. God damn it. Where's my drawing glove? God damn it. Hold on. There's a thing I have to do. Oh God.
Let's see.
You're definitely gonna know what this is.
You're just too good of an artist.
Alright, Piper's out. This thing is out. It is trying its best to squeeze through the bars. It's a little too fat. And just go down. And at the same time as you're doing this, go ahead and roll me a perception check for funsies too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I also want to look around for its trainer. Perception check?
Yep.
Hey, okay, 17.
Oh, okay, hey, 17. You don't see the trainer, but you look up and you hear a familiar noise of this thing going and an echoing and then a third one from above you and below you as well.
Oh, it's not alone. Okay. Piper, he's gonna look her square in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to follow it, okay? And remember where it goes. Use your bird brain. You got this. So we're not gonna fight it.
Okay.
Technically.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if Piper can follow it to where it's going, stay discreet enough, and then fly back to me.
Okay. Oh, and I started the battle music and everything. Okay.
I know, and I really wanted it. I wanted there to be the trainer nearby, so I could be like, "Is this your Pokemon? What the fuck?" But if there's 3 of them, Piper's gonna get flattened. And I have a scared Rockruff in my arms, and if it's what I think it is, then I don't want him to get hit by anything.
I'm really curious to what you think it is.
I think it's a Hoppip.
Ah.
It looks like. I was thinking, what is it? Pikachu's pre-evolution.
Yeah, I can see it now.
And you can't see it now. Anyways, as this thing kind of wiggles its way through the bars, you see it briefly. It is slightly insectoid. It does open up its wings, but it clearly can't fly because it just kind of falls. But in the way the bugs fall, where they like corkscrew, yeah, down to the bottom level, and then a second later you wait, and another one follows suit from the top level, and they all just begin to run. Piper takes off,
a bunch of fucking bugs,
and just like looks at you as if to say, "You're really not gonna let me eat this, Dad?" And just kind of like,
eat the bug.
We gotta find out where it's somebody's friend. We gotta find out whose it is so that we can stop them from trouble, and then we'll get you some food, okay?
We gotta stop them from trouble. It's important.
It is. It's what we do. We're heroes, guys.
But yeah,
I got the bruises all over my body to prove it.
Yeah, you really do. But yeah, as Piper heads off and heads further down the hall following this thing, you see a couple of people, you hear like down below, maybe 3 levels underneath you, like a little kid's voice going, "Daddy, look, it's a Pidgey!" And like an older voice go, "Oh, hey, yeah, oh, fuck, shit. Don't repeat that to your mom."
I'm
As
sure it's just a wind goal, son. Pidgey don't come out this far from land. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
yeah. What are you doing with Rocky, I guess, for the time being?
Okay, he's gonna hold on to him. Alright, so down. Alright, I need to get back into the ship, not outside the ship, and then find the ballroom. The ballroom is definitely not on the outside of the ship. That is not where the ballroom is. So he'll run, try to he's gonna keep looking, but he's gonna try to navigate his way down to head towards, he's heading towards Piper, but looking for the ballroom along the way. Anything that might say like an indication or anything along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. As you run back to the ballroom, we're going to convene here in a little second, but because it's been a while, I would like to know what V, you have successfully stolen Magnus's drink.
Alright, he'll sit back and kick his feet up onto the stool, and he's gonna take a sip and then take out the radio that the engineer had and be like, everything good? Over?
You get a reply back that's like, clearly not! Shh! Over! Shh!
Well, okay, yes, but also, what's going on?
I don't... Shh! No! It's... God damn it. I think those Clink that you were talking about unplugged a whole bunch of shit, so when we were channeling power to the ballroom, it ended up shorting it out. Shh! I don't understand. God damn it. We're gonna...
Do you need help, or you got it?
I think I got it. Just, I don't understand why anybody would do this. Don't bother me, kid. I don't know why I'm talking to you. Just...
No, you're talking to V. Kid calls over to him.
What?
I love it.
Magnus, who has been ignoring you both and has been instead like trying to use his phone, and just scowls after a while and goes, can't even, goddamn, fine. Listen, if this has anything to do with you, the next Kanto police officer that will board this cruise vessel will be having a conversation with you. We have more than enough to take care of this the way that it should be dealt with legally.
Sure you do. Let me know. Would you like my father's number?
Don't worry, we already have it. It gives you honestly a very sour look.
He's not happy with V, which is exactly what I expected to happen.
Yeah, and kind of like walks away. One of the guys walks away with him. The other one just kind of stands around awkwardly.
You're being watched.
At the same time as this is happening, the other people in the restaurant or, the ballroom are beginning to kind of panic a little bit and just go, what's going on? Come on, we were waiting for a thing. Go ahead and roll me perception check, both of you as well. Ooh. All right. Kid, you are... I'm kind of almost presuming that you're shoving breadsticks into your trainer bag for snacks. But as you're kind of looking over to Magnus and then at V, V's kind of got this. You glance over to the stage where the singer is kind of like talking to one of the security guards, looking a little bit worried. And then you glance past her and you see that over in the areas where you guys walked in from, where the code check and the Pokemon check was, there is some kind of very quiet commotion.
Kid will kind of nudge V as he's putting the last little bit of excess food into his bag. Like, hey, there's something going on over there.
Well, we have to check it out, don't we? Did Magnus... He didn't, leave anything behind, right? He totally, picked up all his stuff and left?
Yeah, he didn't have any stuff on him. He came in here with a glass of champagne and, the two guards.
Did he bring a glass of champagne with him?
No, that's true. That's silly. It's his own personal glass of champagne. He just carries it with him everywhere.
Yeah, did he just... You know how people keep the flask? It's just a flask of champagne.
Yep.
Who knows, man? He's weird. Yeah, let's go check it out, I guess. and then maybe get the hell off this boat, because obviously it was pretty much as, I guess, Milo expected, is they just wanted to yell at us and get us to confess to things that we didn't even really do.
Okay. You guys begin to head over. You see, are you trying to sneak away from Magnus, or are you just straight up like, you don't care if you're seen?
No,
you're just
V's
walking
just
off?
leaving.
Okay, you're just leaving.
You didn't tell me I couldn't.
That's true. That's very true.
Just try and stop us. One security guard left to watch us.
Yeah.
Right? I'll hand him the empty glass of the drink that I stole from Magnus and walk away.
Okay.
How did it affect V? Was he cool? Did he like it? Did he hate the taste?
Like a quarter of a glass of champagne.
Yeah, it wasn't really enough. It's up to you. Did V like it? Now that V's had a taste of alcohol, don't drink it.
Is he now an alcoholic?
Was it actually just straight champagne?
It was just straight champagne, yeah.
Okay, he probably did not like it then. That straight champagne is disgusting.
Fair enough. All right. You head over this way. You're seeing that people are slowly beginning to clear out, and kind of like some of them are going back to the rooms. The other ones are slowly heading back. Nobody is in these back rooms anymore. You walked past here, and let me just pull you down to where I want you, because why not?
Yes.
I don't know if we're on the same map.
Yeah, we're still on the Milo map.
Oh no, this is why.
There we go.
All right. There we go. You head over away from Magnus. You go down towards the coat check, and the first thing you see with your previous 25 perception check, did I just call you chick? Why did my brain fucking shorted? Kid. With your 25 perception, Kid, you see that the commotion has now died down, but it is like eerily quiet, and everything is really quiet here in general and dark, so it's really hard to see exactly what's happening. But are you trying to sneak, or are you just walking over to see what the fuck's going on?
Just going over to see what's going on, I guess.
Okay.
We're just casually sauntering up, like we own the place.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I mean, they gave us golden tickets. We do, don't we?
You do.
It's like
Right.
basically a deed.
Yep. The first thing you see as you come over here is that this guard that was previously greeting people before is slumped down near the ground, evidently passed out.
Oh.
And the other one is also kind of like curled up on the ground in a ball.
Well, that seems good. Do they have
That's
like
not
visible
ideal.
wounds?
Sorry, what did you say, V?
Do they have like visible wounds? Are they bleeding?
Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
I think I know what it is now, and I think I know what's going on now, and...
That makes one of us.
Kid's gonna lean down and like slap this guy in the face to try to wake him up.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Good medicine checks, guys. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You look down at this guy, you're like, I don't understand what the fuck's wrong with him. And across from you, you hear just slap! And immediately the guy that you have in your hands, Kid, wakes up and goes, oh, what's going on? What happened?
You're sleeping on the job, my guy. That's what we want to know. What's going on?
But that...
Can you stand up? Are you okay?
I think so. Wait, what?
I guess I'll just pinch this other guy in the face. Just like, wakey, wakey.
Cover his nose and mouth.
That's the opposite.
I mean, it's a good way. No, you'll wake up really fast. As soon as your body goes, wait, I can't breathe, it'll snap you awake, and you're like, oh, hi. How's it going?
Oh, God.
As long as you don't care about scaring the piss out of the person.
Right.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, he wakes up almost immediately the same way as the other guy did. And is immediately also disoriented to go, I think I saw it! What's going on?
What?
There was something down to the... I don't understand. Shit.
Finish your sentence, and maybe we'll understand more.
the guys, the band guys,
What?
the guys that set up the sound system for the ballroom.
I
They
did.
were-
Oh God!
yeah, of
Music in
course.
the sound system.
Yeah, as soon as you say it,
These
so
sound
Type 19's on. Okay, good to know.
I figured it out as soon as they were unconscious. I was like, shit, Type 19's here. That's what's up. That's what's going on. I didn't even think about the
Okay.
sound system.
That I guess that would also track with the cricket type potential you saw because they're all about music. Like they play themselves
Right.
like little violins. So
Which way did they go? Please.
I don't know. I think they just shit. I think they. Oh shit! And he leans across the counter, and like struggles and goes over to the other place, and begins to like ruffle through the thing. Goes, oh shit. Some of the stuff is gone.
What
Oh, shit.
stuff?
I'm fired. There was supposed to be like 32 Pokeballs here, and there's only like 21. 11 are gone. Oh no.
Ideal.
Oh
That.
no.
Okay. Well, we're going to.
You
Shit.
Find Milo.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna-
I feel like we should let Magnus know just so that it really sticks in his craw that he was just talking about Type 19 and they're here to fuck his day up.
Yeah, I guess V will run back real quick. Just kid, just stay here. Figure out which way they went. I'll be right back.
Honestly, as you turn around and begin to run back, there is more commotion out in the hallway. And before you're even able to... Sorry, I'm just trying to give you guys time to react.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's like it happens really quickly as soon
All
as
of
you
it
realize...
once, yeah.
Milo, you come running down the hallway towards the ballroom. And the first thing you see is a much larger version of the very same thing that...
Small child with a bag.
Yes, exactly. That you saw before. It seems to be reaching out of a window, doing something almost as if it's about to climb out. Do you cry out or do anything as you approach?
And I'm heading to the ballroom.
So you're heading to the ballroom and you're like in the entry point for the ballroom. Sorry, I don't have a map for this.
Yeah. You're good. I'm just trying to. It's trying to like leave the ballroom area.
It's like trying to leave. It seems like it's almost left the ballroom area just barely now, and is now trying to climb out of a side window.
All right. Okay. Piper's on recon duty. Lou, grab it.
Okay.